What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Maverick Man 101. Got a video today from Man Talk. Woman divorces her husband of 17 years because he refuses to simp for her. Let's go.
Yesterday, I told my husband I wanted to be separated from him.
Why?
Even just 5 years ago, I didn't understand how people who could love each other so much to get married and have kids and build a life together just throw it all away like that.
And yet, that's exactly what you're doing.
Ironic.
But something never felt right with me. Something never felt right with my relationship. It was always confusing. Do I believe he loves me? Yes, I have no doubt. He would absolutely kill for me.
You know, sweetie, not a lot of husbands are willing to do that. We should really appreciate him more.
Right.
But when it comes to nurturing and loving someone and like wanting to bend every will in your body for them and desire them or just take them out or make them happy, know their littlest things that make them smile.
So basically, it's not enough that he loves you and would delete for you. He doesn't simp for you, therefore you're gonna throw away a 17-year marriage.
Right. I mean, here's the thing. I'm sure that she's not explaining the entire story, right? So I think that's one. I'm sure there's some things that she hasn't done or things that he's told her that maybe he's not satisfied with, that she just hasn't changed, right? But, you know, women get to get on the internet and play victim and fake cry and, you know, try to get sympathy from other people. And so I think that with her, ending this marriage after 17 years is wild, number one. But I think the other thing is asking him to simp or asking him to just do everything for you, which it already sounds like he was. It sounds like he was doing exactly what she wanted. She said he would delete for her. He would, you know, just be very attentive. But women live in a fantasy, man. They live in a fantasy world, and you ain't the main character. She's the main character. Let's go.
And then I started paying attention to things that he was saying. The one example that always stuck out in my mind was when he described his uncle's relationship with his wife. His uncle was kind of a Rolling Stone type of guy, never really had a home.
Okay.
And he met his wife, and he said just how he dances with her and grabs on her and loves her. I could just tell that she was the one, that he just loves her so much.
Okay.
That's an odd thing to say to a wife that you don't dance with, hug, grab, or touch on.
Really? But he hugged, grabbed, and touched enough to have kids with you.
Right. Hey, man, women live in their own fantasy world, I'm telling you. And again, I think this woman's being very... Now, I'm not saying she's not lying, that she maybe doesn't feel this way, but I do think that she's leaving out key details, right? I feel as though she's not giving the whole story. I mean, you know, when you listen to CGA, he talks a lot about the divorce is planned before the wedding, right? And I think this is one of those things. I think this woman has probably had it in her head for years that she was ready to leave, right? Maybe she, you know, got on a dating app mysteriously. Maybe she was listening to her friends or maybe her family. And she wants to be back out there on the streets. She wants to be back on the boulevard. She wants to try, you know, to see if the grass is greener. And so now she's picking, right? Or she's trying to cash in on those IOUs in her head, right? Women are good at keeping receipts, right? So I think for her, she's like, oh, well, he didn't hug me. He didn't touch me. He didn't do this when I asked him. And now, I mean, and that could be from years ago, right? And now she's just like spitballing, right? To help her victimhood. This is crazy.
Sweetie, have you ever told him that you want more physical attention from him?
What?
Right.
No, seriously, it's that easy. See, I've had 2 female dogs. Very lovable, very attention-seeking puppies they were. And whenever they wanted attention, they just came over wagging their tails and asked for it. And they always got it unless I was actually busy.
Fair.
So, if
That's
a
fair.
dog can ask for attention, I wonder why a lot of you lovely ladies don't ask your husbands for attention.
How dare!
Well, I guess it's easier to complain on TikTok than to ask your husband for a hug.
And I think little things like that throughout the years. And when he loved me, God, he loved me so hard. But then the next day, it felt like we were roommates.
Hey, sweetie, have you ever considered that maybe the reason why your husband went cold the next day and started acting like a roommate is because he got tired of always initiating and he also wants to feel desired and loved?
What?
Now, the thing is, most of us are used to always initiating, but not in a committed relationship and definitely not in a marriage. Because
Right.
as far as I'm concerned, if she doesn't reciprocate and doesn't initiate, it means that she's probably not that into me, so I don't commit to her. And if she is that into me, but she's playing games, I don't commit to her because miss me with that BS.
Every time I brought this to his
Good point.
attention, the problem was always me. I could never be together. You know, I had to go back to therapy. I had to read all the self-help
Oh, no.
books. And you wouldn't believe how many I have read. And I have them all. I will show you.
So basically, he told you what the problem is. You took that personally, then you went to therapy, which
I mean, if she went to therapy, good for her. You know, applause, right? But I think that therapy is very specifically marriage and couples therapy. Now, look, I've never been married. You know, I've never been to couples therapy, things like that. But from what I hear from other people and the things that I see, it seems like it's very condescending, very attacking on the man, right? So what they'll do is they'll sympathize with the female, with the woman, the wife. They'll allow her to cry. And this is from what other folks have told me. They'll allow her to cry and to just get all her emotions out, right? Every single emotion. And then when it comes to the man, it's like they're demonizing him, right? And the woman crying is the evidence that he's messing up, right? It's like, oh, well, you see your wife crying. You're not doing enough. You're not a man. You know, you ain't good, right? Get it together, man. And I feel like, you know, therapists have, or marriage counselors have talked about this, how marriage counseling and couples therapy is geared towards women. Waste of time, man.
on the surface is fine, but then again,
Men are often demonized in the first session of couples therapy. There are
Told
two
you.
big reasons for this. One,
Told you.
women are usually better at articulating their grievances. Two,
Yeah.
criticize a woman too early and she is likely to stomp out of the session. Men will just take it.
6 years for a master's
Right.
degree and then 3 years of focused apprenticeship under other clinicians to become a licensed marriage and family therapist. 9-year experience. And I remember the training they gave us about be careful with female clients in couples therapy because they have come in expecting that their feelings will be validated. Don't smother and stomp on the guy because all of you guys will do that. The woman will be better at crying about her feelings. No, he never loved me. He never cares. And he's like, I'm really sorry that you're having these feelings. And then the therapist is like, well, if this is the direction you guys want to go. Cool. Hey, guy, here's the things you must do if you want to be a decent. And then it just turns into this big
Right.
fest about let's fix the guy. Meanwhile, the things she's contributing go completely under the rug. The guys are exhausted by this. There's a reason they don't want to go to couples therapy anymore.
well, gee, I
Yeah.
wonder why
Just talked about
that
that.
didn't
Yeah,
solve
no,
the
for sure.
problem.
And I even went to
For
school
sure.
for psychology. So I studied this.
Oh, and she
I
went to school for
became
psychology.
obsessed with it because
Oh, no.
I was convinced that if I just did the right thing or said the right thing, that he would fall madly in love with me.
Now the question is, did you say the right thing and do the right thing? Or did you use that therapy and those self-help books to validate your feelings on why you shouldn't do the right thing and say the right thing? Personally, I think it's the latter.
It was never one gigantic thing. I wish it was. I wish I could be like, he cheated and I hate him. Does he love me? Yes. Is he in love with me? No. What? It was never one gigantic thing. I wish.
You know, I think that, and again, I don't know these people, obviously, but I think anytime a woman gets on the internet and starts talking about her marriage and her relationship, I mean, did the man agree to this? I mean, did he say it was okay? A lot of times men don't really want it out there like that. They don't want it to be broadcast to the public about especially about a divorce, right? It's one thing to just break up from a girl or have a breakup in a relationship, but it's one thing to be divorced from your wife of 17 years. Now, I don't know if that guy is doing his own thing on his own channel, if he has one, but that's one thing, right? Just always looking for sympathy, always trying to play the victim. I think the other thing is too, I think these people probably really loved each other, right? I think her and the other guy probably really had some feelings. And I think she just punted it all away like a 4th and 30 because of her feelings, right? Just because she felt like it, right? Because, maybe the streets were getting hot. She wanted to be out there. Maybe she had a homegirl that was out there banging chads, something, right? And she pulled the plug. Wild.
Shit was. I wish I could be like, he cheated and I hate him. Does he love me? Yes. Is he in love with me? No.
What you just said
What?
is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Fair.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
So basically, he didn't do anything wrong, and you're just fishing for a pretext to validate your desire to divorce your husband.
Right.
Yeah, pretty creative use of your psychology degree.
Right.
Going into the unknown is scary. I didn't even know I was ready until it actually happened. It was intuitive.
A few moments later.
Yesterday I told my husband I wanted to be separated from him, and people keep saying sorry, and I'm only crying right now because that was probably the hardest thing I've ever done. I truly thought I was gonna be with him forever, and I still love him so much, and I wanted it to be different, but it's not. It's okay to be upset. This is 17 years of my life we're talking about. Somebody I shared children with, who I built a life with. So yeah, say sorry, but also say congratulations for also being really strong, because that was not easy.
And there you have it. It's all about...
Yo, man, whatever, bro. Just these women, man. Oh my God, bro. And look, I think it's a matter of I think it's a matter of when, not if, right? I mean, how do you get to 17 years? I think the average marriage nowadays is, I think, 5 to 8 is usually when it starts to burn out. You almost double that. And she pulls the plug. And I refuse to believe that she didn't already have this in her head years ago, right? Maybe she didn't have it already, and when they first got married, but I just don't think this was a random act of, hey, look, let's end it, right? And number 2 and 3 and whatever, she ain't crying, bruh. Maybe her eyes are a little watery, but I think maybe it's a tear over here. Stop it. Just stop it. I tell you, man, men do for family, women do for self. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. That's who they are. That's who they've been, give or take, for the most part, kind of, right? And men get the short end of the stick. Short end of the stick. Excuse me, if I could speak. And I think that the children also are really going to suffer in this, right? I'm assuming that her kids are probably older if they got together when they were younger and they had kids. I'm assuming those kids are older. Maybe they have one or two that's going to college soon. But even still, right? I mean, hey, look, I hope it works out for these people. I hope it works out for the man. More importantly, I hope it works out for those kids who are involved in this catastrophe of a woman here. And ma'am, real quick, before I play the rest of the video, she's gonna go out onto the dating market and just get pounded, just mercilessly, right? By Chad, Tyrone, Enrique, all of them. And she's gonna look even worse in like 3 years. And she'll be back on the internet talking about, where have all the good men gone? Why is it so hard dating in your 40s and 50s? They about to have fun with her and then toss her right back to the wolves.
Me validate my feelings.
Just like a woman.
And you know what the funny part is? If he actually did simp for her and, as she said, bend every will in his body to please her,
Right.
chances are she would have seen that as weakness, then cheated on him,
Right.
then divorced him anyway.
It really do be like that sometime.
But guys, you know what's even funnier? She's divorcing him after 17 years, meaning the kids are just a few years away from 18, meaning she's not gonna get child support for very long. And
That's a good
also,
point.
now she's
good
gonna
point.
have to tackle the current dating market as a divorced single mom in her 40s, while her ex-husband gets to live free of her nagging.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
But hey, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Shout out to Man Talk. I appreciate that. Really good video. I think that, and it's a shame, man. I mean, I don't want to see families broken up, although I'm not a huge believer in marriage in the West, particularly because of laws and people. But I never want to see families breaking up, right? If you take that vow, if you make that commitment, I don't want to see families broken up, right? But this woman clearly is devoted to her emotions, and that's all she's devoted to. Forget the family, forget her husband, forget trying to work it out. She studied psychology, she went to therapy, they went to marriage counseling. Instead of her listening to her man and doing what her man says, she looks out of the bubble and goes to everybody else, right? I said this on a previous video, how women, they'll listen to their boss, they listen to their professor, their teacher, their manager, coach, whoever. When it comes to the man in their life, or the men in their life, right? Their dad, their husband, their boyfriend, even male friends, quote unquote, right? They not listening, right? It'll fall on deaf ears. They don't care. Well, I hope it works out for them. Disgusting. All right, folks. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for sticking around to the end of the video. Until next time, eat well, sleep well, be well. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.